Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. Get my beautiful radio voice going, and let's talk about this. All right, I'm going to make this statement. This seems to upset people sometimes when you say this, but it's the reality. Dropping weights on the floor, slamming machines, slamming cable stacks is not useful to your gains. It isn't hardcore. It isn't awesome. All it does is break stuff around you, probably give you higher chances of injury, and it's just in general annoying, and it is not going to put a single tiny drop of extra muscle on you. Now, people say, but Ronnie Coleman used to drop the heavy dumbbells. Well, I'll tell you what, when you can do a full range of motion dumbbell press, right? Or even wider bench, right? When you can do that with 200-pound dumbbells for multiple sets of 12 and come all the way down and touch your chest at the bottom under control, we'll maybe make an exception for you. And when you win your 8th Mr. Olympia title, maybe. But I want to be clear, the actual dropping is still stupid. It still potentially injures people around you. It damages dumbbells, and it does not do one single solitary thing to help your gains. And we need to be clear on that. And it's a point people don't seem to get. And a lot of that's just being straight disrespectful to equipment that other people own. Now, when I make this statement, people will say, well, what about powerlifting? I don't know, like when I set that state record last time I competed, I set it down under control. You're telling me you can't break a Texas state record? That's what I did, Texas State Masters record. I broke it. And guess what? I set it down. So you guys are telling me you can't set a deadlift down under control? Then maybe you have no business lifting it if you're not capable of it. Just saying. People bring up the whole topic of what about Olympic lifting? Well, that is an exception. But I'm going to make the caveat here. If you are doing Olympic lifting, that would be things like cleans and snatches. If you care about doing those, keep in mind they're not particularly good for muscle growth. They're not even particularly good for gaining strength. Just be aware of that. They do them for technique, but those people build their muscle and strength with other movements. Again, be aware of that. They're not just doing cleans and snatches to get to the Olympics. So if you're actually doing them, I'm going to assume you're taking them seriously enough that you're going to go to a gym with the proper equipment to do them. You should not be doing them with regular commercial gym equipment. You will destroy it. And you're also not going to have the best safety. You're going to have the proper plates. Most of the time for the correct amount of bounce you want. You're not going to have the correct bars. You're just destroying it. So you really shouldn't be doing them with regular commercial equipment. You need Olympic lifting bars. They have specific bushings in them. You have specific plates that you should generally be using. Okay, I actually have the correct plates for that, for my stuff in my gym. I do have some of that. And you're probably on a platform that is designed with this intended purpose. Sorry, I got to scratch my eyes there. I'm going to leave that in. I don't care. It's for that intended purpose, people. So when people bring that up, well, so you're saying them. I'm saying if those same people did that under regular conditions, they would be ignoramuses. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. You know, people like to defend this stuff, and they're like, well, I'm being hardcore. Yeah, maybe you need to train. It's like, really? Maybe you need to train smarter. You guys see me deadlift over 600 pounds in my late 40s. I think I do know a little bit about training hard and training hardcore. I mean, do you want to argue against that? You really want to argue against that? Maybe people should listen to those of us who've been around a while and say, you're just being ridiculous. And here's the thing. When you're slamming weight stacks on cables, why? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to treat it like a power lift? Then go get on a barbell. If you're trying to treat it like a big heavy lift, go do some bench pressing. Go do some squats, do some deadlifts. Don't do it on a cable stack. Same thing, we come over to a dumbbell. People are like, well, dumbbell presses. Well, that's a big one people love to drop on the floor. I've seen people get hurt. I've seen bystanders who are nearby. I've seen dumbbells bounce, and I've seen them have toes and feet broken because some ridiculous clown throws his dumbbells down because he's not strong enough to lift the dumbbells he's trying to lift. And I need to be clear here. This is why. When I say that on those, you should generally be able to get them up to your lap, rock back, get them into position, do full range of motion reps, rest a second if they're kind of heavy, rock back down and set them on your thighs. Yes, I'm saying even if you're using 150-pound dumbbells, because if you're strong enough to actually use this tool correctly, you're probably strong enough to just rock them back into place and set them down gently on the floor in front of you. It's only 300 pounds. If you're actually capable of doing 10 reps with 150-pound dumbbells for a full range of motion, your overall strength, unless you are injured, right, you've broken your back or something, okay, I'll make an exception, but maybe you need to have people spot you in that case. Just going to say, I don't know how you got them into position to begin with then, but then you should be strong enough to do that. You should be able to control them and set them down. And people say, what if I'm trying to go heavy? When you're not doing yourself any favors. Because if you're not able to go all the way down, that means the dumbbell should touch the edge of your pec at the bottom. If you can't go all the way down, guess what? It's too heavy. You're not even getting a benefit. Why do we use dumbbells? Number one reason, the potential deeper stretch, deeper range of motion than you would get from a barbell. So if your range of motion isn't long, you're wasting your time with dumbbells anyways. Just go use a barbell and it's much safer and easier. It's not going to drop to the floor. Okay? And if you don't have spotters, you're not smart enough to use a safety rack, you're not smart enough to then use a spotter. If you got to do the little bounce of shame, then set it on the ground in front of you. Put your collars on too. That's clownery also. Oh, I'm just going to tip it in a gym full of people. I hope you get sued. Again, this sort of stupidity has no place in a gym. It's stupidity and ignorance. It has no place in a gym. Back over to that point, and you should be using higher reps. Why are you trying to do sets of 4 with a dumbbell? Do you realize this is how people tear their pecs on dumbbells? You can't stabilize it the same way as a barbell. You start going heavy like that, particularly doing the partials, when you pop a titty and it snaps and it retracts up like this across your chest and you have to get it surgically reattached, you did that to yourself. Good. I hope you learned a valuable lesson about how to correctly use a tool. I think you'll learn your lesson at that point then, won't you? We've all seen it happen even on the tubes. And that's the point with all this nonsense. It is disrespectful. You want to do this in your own home with your own equipment, fine. But you're doing this with other people's equipment. You are renting space there when you're at a gym. You are disrespecting other people's equipment that they own, that they pay for themselves for you to be able to use at the gym. You're attacking their livelihood, destroying their equipment, destroying equipment other people need and use because you want to be silly, because you snorted too much pre-workout like Rich Piana told you to. Maybe quit using the silly, goofy, goofball, stupid pre-workouts. You know they're actually worth it. Read the research. They don't even help you with your gains. They're there for the supplement industry to get you addicted to expensive stuff you don't need. They serve no purpose. All right, my rant is over. But stop being disrespectful to other people's stuff. That includes you clowns who do above-the-knee rack pulls and destroy barbells. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.